very kind of CTC to allow us this opportunity to present a small offering of what we believe is resilience and maybe how we can apply it, not just now, but even in times beyond the pandemic. So today, our whole aim, so Malini and I are here today to take you through a small webinar, which consists mainly of exercises, which will help you enhance your awareness around constructs of positive psychology. Normally when we talk of psychology, people have this conception in their mind which says that, oh, psychology is only to fix problems or to fix things or to, repair something or to find weaknesses. But interestingly, when we talk of positive psychology, we are talking about both aspects. We are talking about the yin and the yang. We are talking about building what is strong as well as repairing what is not so strong. We are talking about fulfillment and we are talking about healing, which go hand in hand. We are talking about increasing well-being and we are talking about decreasing misery. So it's a twofold thing. And it's got some very interesting constructs that we can use in our life, even on a daily basis. So I'd like to begin by just drawing your attention to how all of us are experiencing this current situation in different ways, probably based on our own personality, our temperament, our coping abilities, our worries, our beliefs, our anxieties. There is no right or wrong way that we can say, to experience the situation, and every perspective, I would say, whether positive, negative, or neutral, is valid in this situation. But one thing is there, that no matter what adversity we face, as human beings, we can always find threads that help us connect back to our resilience. So at the onset, I just would like to ask all of you, and you can just put this, in the chat, what resilience means to you. So you can put in one word, you can put in a line, just to represent what is resilience symbolic of for you as an individual. So anything, you can just type it in the chat, or maybe you, if you like, you can just write it down. Any responses? To withstand the unknown gracefully. Beautiful answer. Any more? Strength. Great. Any more? Anything? Personally, what is resilience? How are you coping in this pandemic? How do you make yourself get up each day and face what is to come? Or just go with this entire uncertainty? So what is it one thing that stands for resilience for you? Positivity, yes. You can put in your answers. There's no right or wrong answer here. It is a very personal definition of what resilience means to each person. And that's what today we are going to talk about through this entire webinar. All right. So to overcome difficulty, stress handled with music. Okay. That's a very unique one. All right. So we've got a couple here: withstanding the unknown, strength, positivity, handling stress with music, and overcoming difficulty. Okay, so allow me a couple of minutes to share my screen. And as I take you through today's presentation, which is your roadmap to resilience, and as I said, which is all about not just making a roadmap for resilience in pandemic times, but also creating one which is going to help you otherwise, right? Because we all need resilience. We don't know the adversities that we are going to face throughout our day. They say that there are three routes to well-being, right? One is the pleasurable life, one is the engaged life, and one is the meaningful life. So if I'm talking about the constructs of positive psychology, they are based around these three important aspects, right? Today, this is a short overview of our session. What we will do is we will take you through an exercise which will help you explore your values. We'll give you a short introduction to this concept called PERMA, which was formulated by a gentleman who's known as the father of positive psychology, Dr. Martin Seligman. And using PERMA, we will do some reflections on your own life and on your own wheel of balance, and probably have a little positive intervention and end with a mindfulness exercise. So what I'm now going to do is I'll request Malini to take us through this first activity that we have structured for you this evening. So Malini, over to you for exploring values.
Thank you, Nilofer. Right. Very important thing is that, I think we have all gone through this pandemic, and, we have also seen how things have been working. And, I think we have also found our own mojo. We have also got into understanding that, what works for me, how I can cope up with it. And, when we use this word resilience, we can actually use resilience, or we can use well-being, or we can even use it as flourishing, and they are all interchangeable. Right? I think when we have gone through a difficult challenge, we have seen that how we, stop for some time, and then so that, how we could get back our well-being, and how we could actually be more stronger, and, how we could flourish in those difficult times. So actually we can use these words, in a very interchangeable context. And these are also our different routes to, staying well or being well. And, those routes could be like, sometimes we are more concerned on, focusing on the positive emotions. So that's what we call it as a pleasurable route. Sometimes we are using the engaged life, right? So we are also using engaged life sometimes, that how we situation, what gets us into that state of flow. So we are more going towards that state of flow. And apart from that, we are also getting into understanding our values, and create a meaningful life. So, what is the purpose and what is the meaning for this situation in my life? So we are going through these routes in a very different way. And as you have all mentioned that, it is the ability to withstand the challenges with grace or strength and all. So this all would actually help us in gaining that strength. And why we say values? Because they are basically the core, or the core foundation for the different things in our life. Basically our purpose, our belief systems, or things that we can make a difference. And we have a self-worth, or we can actually reach out to people and make a difference in somebody's lives. So basically these are the core foundation of our life. And they influence not just our behavior, but they also influence our thoughts and the feelings behind it. So, to understand this more, I would just ask that, could you just let us know that, when you were cheated by somebody, how did you feel and why? Anybody would like to share? You could put it in the chat also. Do you become angry, or, how do you feel about it? Somebody? One person at least? Yes, discouraged and annoyed. Yes, discouraged and annoyed. And why is that? Because somewhere I think, our values have been hurt. I mean, we get actually hurt our value of being honest, or fairness and integrity, and they were not honored. We were hurt on those values. Similarly, when you do something, no, I did not question what I did wrong. I asked basically that many of us get angry, when someone has cheated us. So why do we get angry, or why do we feel discouraged and annoyed? Because somewhere the value of being honest, fair, or doing things, yes, trust is being breached when someone cheats us. Yes, so it's the value of trust, honesty, being fair, integrity, right? All this, get somewhere not honored, and therefore we feel angry. Similarly, how do you you feel great when you have achieved something, or when you have, today your entire thing has gone well, all the work processes, everything, you have enjoyed and you have done well. So why do we feel great when things go well in a day? I'm asking you to introspect a little, because the session today is going to be more a little bit of introspective also, where we get in touch with our, inner self. Things happened what you expected, right? So things were in our control, or maybe, I've got that sense of appreciation, control, or maybe, certain things were completed. So I felt good about it. So this is a good example where you feel that your values are getting honored. And when your values are getting honored, basically you feel better, you feel more in tune with what you have to do. That's what we mentioned about being in the flow, right? So you have something like being in a flow and creating certain things what you really wanted to. Why we are using these examples is just to let us know that if we are in sync with our values, if something happens in sync with our values, it builds up positivity and it builds up resilience. And when something doesn't happen in sync with our values, when there is a conflict, it can give rise to stress, anxiety. It can also make us feel upset, and it can also have an effect on our resilience or our immunity, because I think today the word is more about even immunity. It's also about mind immunity, that is resilience. So basically that's where our resilience does get affected when things are not in sync with our values. So this is where values become very, very important. I would also give different examples, like I feel good or happy when I'm able to connect to my family, or I feel energetic when I'm able to connect to my exercise routine, or when I'm able to spend some quiet time reflecting and introspecting, I feel a clarity. So there are so many of our values which we need to actually work in even our daily routine, because that is going to actually help us to deal with situations in a different way and also build up our resilience. So what we understand here is that there are different kinds of values, and some which are very common in our day to day life, that will be more in terms of our love, honesty, the kind of support, the kind of guidance that we get from others. uh, Very important thing, trust, whether it's with professional relationships, personal relationships, energy, okay, even health, success, recognition, achievement in our respective fields, and also the courage to go through situations, growth in our hobbies, right? These are all different areas where values are required and where values guide us. So what we are trying to say is that when we understand our core values, we can actually take the first step towards our well-being. Sometimes I know that I'm aware of it, but I may not be able to give time. Sometimes I know that I'm not aware, and I may become aware that okay, this is what I value and this is how I could actually allot the time to. See, I would give an example. When I did my the SSL2, that is the self leadership course, there was something which was where we had to write down certain things. And when you actually go through it, like even after 5 years, even after 10 years, you realize that okay, these are the things that are slowly taking shape even in your life. I remember one thing that is about religious ceremonies. I couldn't attend many times, but then I had developed a liking, and I see in the last 10 years that I have been very enthusiastic to attend the ceremonies and be with the family and everything. So when you actually look back 10 years or 15 years back, what you actually put down, it's becoming more full-fledged even now in the present circumstances. So when I actually do something like that, even right now, I can see that unfolding in the next few years, and it's becoming a reality in our life, and we are able to go through this in a different way. So we have some activity here, and I would request if you could just uh, take it and enjoy doing it, because we can all have theory, like we can all have theory about resilience, we can all have theory about a lot of things, but then this is something that will actually have a more practical impact, and you could actually do it in a different way for yourself, right? So one thing that you need to do is that two items that you need to function on a daily basis. So you'll have to write it down, right? Two things that you would like you would like to have in your daily basis, which helps you to function well. It may be a mobile, it may be water, it may be some medicines, it may be any of your gadgets, laptop, or it may be a book, right? Reading a book, so a particular book that I would like to read, or any other thing that will help you to function well. Just write down two things. Okay. So this may be more of, objects or, products. So driving means car. Any other thing? Two items, two products, two objects that you feel you need to function well on a daily basis. The second one is, anybody would like to share? Okay, cell phone and car. Stay alone for some time. Okay, fine. Anybody else? You could even make a note of it for yourself. Spa therapy and stay alone for some time. All right, sure. We go to the next. Two geographical locations that are important to you and why. Any of the cities, any of the countries, any of the geographical locations, any of the areas, localities, even in your own city, you know, some place where it could be a beach, it could be some place where you would like to travel, or some place where you have been and you have got good memories about that place. So two geographical locations. I think if we are married, the best place would be your honeymoon location, right? Which you cannot forget, or the place where you went on your first, you know, outing. Right? So something where you actually have got good memories. Yes, up in the mountains, less population. Yes. Three people who made you who you are. The third question is three people who made you who you are. You are actually grateful for those people. It may be positive, it may be negative. Can we have more sharings?
I think people are not yet fully resilient, Malini. They'll take some time. So I think maybe, yes, you can, I mean, sharing is most welcome, but in the event you feel that you'd like to do a quiet introspection, even that is fine.
No, I'm just saying that you could write it for yourself, when you're doing it also, even if you do not share it here, you could do it for yourself and do it. So that's what I meant also. So we have done three questions, two items that you need to function on a daily basis, two locations, geographical locations that are important to you and why, three people who made you who you are, it can be positive, negative, two of your personal goals and the reason for that. What are the two of my goals, personal goals that I actually value and why? It may be long term, it may be short term, it may be just immediate, it may be something that you would like to achieve in the next 2 to 3 months. And similarly would be two professional goals and reason. And the last is basically, you can write down three significant memories, three significant recollections, experiences in your life. It can be positive, pleasant, unpleasant, right? And something that you learned from it, a lesson that you learned from it, or a memory that you would always want to remember and cherish. You could write it down in one or two sentences. You may not write in details, but you could just write it down. To stay fit and read more will be personal goal and memories.
You should have a list of at least 14 items with you now.
Yes. So if you have not still, you could still take time and finish it wherever you have left it as a blank, right? You could finish those things, two items that you need to function, two locations, three people, two personal goals, two professional goals, and three significant memories. We're going to do some permutation and combination here now, right? So you could just take a deep breath, reflect on it, fill up the blanks, whichever are there, wherever you have written only one item or you have just meant two things. You could write down the third thing also. Once you finish, just give me can just show a thumbs up for me so that I know that we can proceed ahead. All right. So now what we can do is we need to prioritize. So you will have to cancel three things from your sheet. It can be random, right? Three things you can cancel for your sheet, which means that you don't have this thing right now, or this thing is not important for you. Or maybe, this person you don't meet, or maybe you're not working towards this goal. It came in your mind, but you have thought of, not working on it. Or maybe, there is some kind of memory area where I'm not able to recall the entire incident, right? So you'll have to cross out three things from the entire list which are of no significance to you right now. Once you do that, you cancel four more things from the list which you would like to eliminate. So we have canceled three things which are not significant. Now you cancel four things also which you would like to still eliminate. Post that, you will still eliminate two more things from the list. So in all, we are now left with only five things on our list. We cancelled three, we cancelled four, we cancelled two. So now we are left with five things, okay, on our list. Was this difficult, and what are the emotions that you experience here as we were canceling, eliminating, as we were becoming more focused on those five things? Anybody would like to share? Anyone? Were you experiencing anything? Sometimes we experience that, okay, I really believed in it, but right now when I just go back to it, I really feel that this was not important. Or maybe, I carried certain things in my life, like, or like a negative experience, but I know that, this is not important right now. I've grown that, outgrown that, I have let go of it. Or maybe I'd wanted to go to a particular place, but I feel, yes, it's difficult to give up. It's difficult to give up. It's difficult to, sometimes let go, right? It's also difficult to sometimes understand that, why we need this, or, why things are going in a particular way. So let's come to this understanding. We will use this value list. These are the different kinds of values that we have. If you look into wisdom and knowledge, it could be, love of learning, perspective, judgment, creativity, curiosity, you know. So what was surprising, if you can just go back to this questions and eliminations, what was more surprising for you? How were things, difficult? Was it easy? Was it difficult? What did you explore? What did you learn about yourself? And what kind of values that you actually, connect to? So this is a small list, you could choose the values that you actually can connect to. right? It can be anything. It can be art, adventure. Is there something that you value but you're not able to allot time? Or is there something that you have started recently and why, right? Do you think that these values you identified are visible in your daily choices? Can you look into it? Can you look into it? What are the things that can you actually value? Yeah, you can actually give it as a learning how much importance you gave something. It's a learning process. Anything new, anything that you felt new about, you were surprised about. Is there something that you have started recently? Is there something new that you have started? For example, if my value is to spend time with family, am I able to give that time? Am I able to go through that? Am I able to share, or am I able to show my love and care and affection, or spend some time where we are enjoying each other's company? So, is there something like an exploration? Is there something that you did started recently? And can you link your choices to your aspirations? Like, can you behave in ways that reflect your values and do more of it? Like, how we can prioritize it for our well-being, because this entire thing is basically based on your well-being. The more I'm in sync, as I mentioned, that the more the disparity between two things, the values and my behavior, that's going to give rise to more stress and anxiety. We dealing with a lot of people. Sometimes people come with sometimes stress, anxiety. There are sometimes communication issues, but it all actually bothers down to understanding that how things are and how things can be worked upon, and also what I value in. So if I value communication but I'm not spending time, or my communication is not effective, then that's going to give rise to issues. So when we deal in counseling, in our therapy also, we do a lot of this exploration, so we understand that what is it. We may value it, but we may not be able to allot time because of our schedules, and because of that also we will be able to bother down, or we feel that we are getting into that stress and anxiety. So please understand that this list of values are important. Where do I, like, let's say, even if I take wisdom, so am I spending some time in learning, self development, contribution? Like, if I feel that if I want to contribute, am I able to contribute or not? Am I able to work towards it or not? What are the other things that I can do, so that I can bring it into it, so that I can actually spend time more in contributing. uh, Inner peace is that if I want to get into an inner peace, how do I go into it? How do I work towards it? What are the things that I can do towards it? So that is somewhere where my inner peace comes into play. And that's where I need to understand that I have to work towards dealing with different situations in sync with my value, right? The more we get into that, we are developing, we are growing, and we are also utilizing this. So when you explore this, just see whether there is any change, whether there is any new thing, whether there's something that you value but you're not able to give time to. How is it that going to help you when you bring these values in your day-to-day routine, right? One person said that, I value peace and proper way of behavior in a relationship, but because of work pressure sometimes I'm shouting or I become rude, and that affects me, right? So whether I value certain things or am I not able to do it because of certain reasons, that's the whole idea about this exercise, that I get in more touch with my own beliefs. These are something which are unique to individual persons, right? And how do I actually get into it? So once you understand that, you will have a life which is full of pleasure, engagement, and meaning, because whatever we are trying to achieve will be on this foundation. This is the foundation, and on that foundation we can build up the pillars, which can help us to make our life more pleasurable, engage in it, gain meaning out of it, and and also have that courage, humanity. These are all the, major values: courage, wisdom, knowledge, justice. And they are again divided into their own range of different values, like persistence. With resilience, it also comes as persistence. How am I able to persist in difficult challenges, or how am I able to do things in a difficult situation? Curiosity, open-mindedness, the ability to shift. Open-mindedness is also the ability to shift, to be adaptable. There is a change, right? I cannot stop the change. I was remembering when we had the cyclone, I saw one video where there was this coconut tree. There were a lot of big trees which have already fallen down, but this coconut tree, I could see, it was just rotating and rotating with the wind. And once when the wind stopped, it actually, came back to its original position. So adaptability to the changes, adaptability to doing things in a different way, that would also, aid on to our resilience. Perspective is changing of our perspective. We may look at situations from one perspective, but when we are able to look at situations from different perspective, appreciate, understand people, understand their expressions, create that optimism and hope, humor. These are all the other values, which are also going to aid in making us feel more stronger from within and enhance our resilience. Gratitude, again, thanksgiving, what we are actually getting throughout the day, like I'm safe, I'm healthy, I'm able to do well. I have my people with me. I have the resources from which I can do the things. Optimism is again a very good value. It is a kind of a pattern, wherever when there are changes or wherever there are negative things happening, I view it with an optimistic mind frame. I'm hopeful that things will turn out to be better and I can manage the challenges. So that's another thing that's going to actually keep me more focused and also give me a different perspective. So when we actually use this different values, I would say persistence, kindness, here again it would be open-mindedness, perspective, even curiosity sometimes, humor, hope, gratitude, self-regulation. These are the other areas which can also help us to feel better, and these are also the things that can make us feel more in control of situations. So values being your pivotal foundation, and build on that foundation, we have to build the building blocks of our resilience. So
Your voice is lagging a bit, Malini.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I think I shifted my place a little bit here and there. I'm so sorry. Uh, so basically, very, very important that on this foundation, once we actually make this foundation more stronger, we can actually erect the 5 pillars of the POMA model, which Nilofer will going to take you through, because that's definitely going to help you also to understand that what are the behaviors which we need to do in sync with these values, which can actually help us to feel more resilient, right? And we can also use this words, which was at one instance when I was very persistent and it made me feel better, which was at one instant where there were a lot of changes happening but I still maintained my regulation, or which was that situation where there were a lot of changes happening but I was open and it made me go with the flow, right? It made me go with the flow and also reach my goals and my destination in a better way. Where was that one situation where I had a different perspective but I tried to alter it, and how did it help me, right? Where was that one situation where I could let go things easily, or where was that one situation where I was optimistic and it helped me? Where was that situation where I felt thankful, no matter how the day was, I felt thankful for it and I felt better. So it's very important that you try to understand those areas and see how you could actually build up the pillars of well-being based on these values. So Nilofer will now take you over for the further exercise, which is the PERMA model, which is again based on positive psychology, and how you could actually create it through different actions or through different behaviors in our day-to-day routine. So Nilofer, over to you.
Thanks, Malini. So, what you just did right now was a small exploratory exercise into understanding or knowing your own values. Once you know your values, why they are important, just think about the times whenever you are stressed. Think about the times whenever you have a conflict in between doing 2 or 3 different things, and you can't figure out, and you seem to be pulled in these 2 or 3 directions. I think even now in this pandemic situation, a lot of us are feeling this stress. A lot of us are feeling this whole factor that, our value of normalcy has been disrupted. Our value of being able to achieve the goals that we had set for ourselves probably in the last 6 months has been disrupted. Our value of having social connections with our family has been disrupted. So if you're looking at it, right, in the center of all of this value-based action lies the core of our life that we are seeking, which is a pleasurable, engaged, and meaningful life, which holds true for us even outside a pandemic situation. Now, just as Malini said, so this particular chart which you're seeing is called the character strengths inventory. And the person who founded the PERMA model, he's known as the father of positive psychology. His name is Dr. Martin Seligman. He's created this entire model of character strengths, which he believes comes from our values, right? So we are going to do a small little exercise here. This is called PERMA reflection. So he came out with this model called PERMA, right? He took the original construct of the 3 routes to well-being, which is a positive, meaningful, and engaged life, and he expanded it. He said there are 5 key areas where we can take deliberate action to activate these areas and enhance our well-being and resilience. And he said these 5 key areas are, the first one is positive emotion, right? Positive emotion, something all of us feel: comfort, contentment, joy, pleasure, satisfaction. When we feel good, automatically we perform better. We respond better in our relationships. We seem to be happier. We seem to be able to take the risks or set goals for a future that we would like to create for ourselves, right? We are able to even train our mind to be happy through acts of kindness, gratitude, appreciating others. I want you to take a couple of moments here just to identify what makes you happy, right? Is it food? Is it friends? Is it music? Is it hobbies? Maybe it's identifying some places you can think of, maybe some people in your life, some events which may have happened, anything which evokes positive emotions for you, right? Because the key is to find ways to bring positive emotions in your daily routine every single day, and not waiting for one event to happen sometime in the future, right? So as you look at this and you have, that little the entire circle, as you can see, is divided up into 5 parts. Each part stands for PERMA. So PERMA is positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and accomplishment, right? So this model is around this entire, diagram. And if you see, I have put scores there. So there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. As I take you through this model, I just want you firstly to reflect on what I'm speaking about in each of these areas, and then we'll do a small little personal reflection for each of you, right? Now, when I'm looking at, so as I was talking and I was telling you about positive emotions, right? Now, of course, none of us can experience positive emotions forever, right? Or similarly, sometimes we may experience positive emotions in one thing, but thereafter we may not experience it after that. For example, if you do a spa therapy maybe once in 15 days, it may give you pleasure. But if you start doing it every single day, you may suddenly feel it's not really worth it, or it's not as valuable as it was when you were doing it once in 15 days. This is the same notion why lottery winners are not happy a year after winning a lottery. Okay, there's a entire research which has been done on it. Another aspect which people often feel, that how can I be positive about bad things which have happened to me in the past, right? Because it's already gone. I can't bring it back. Yes, you can, right? Through gratitude and forgiveness. So gratitude and forgiveness helps you build positive emotions about the past. Savoring and mindfulness helps you build positive emotions about the present moment, the now. So enjoying that one cup of tea, looking out in the balcony, admiring the colors of the sunset, all of that is called as savoring those little moments, right? The third thing, hope and optimism, build positive emotions about the future. So even in this pandemic, if I'm hopeful, if I'm optimistic that no matter what happens, I will be able to go through it, I will be able to take each day as it comes, right? I will be able to maintain that stability of my positive emotions. So remember this, right? But of course, there's a limit to how much positive emotions we can experience. And therefore, there is the second aspect of this model, which is called engagement, right? Engagement, again here, means being in the flow. What do I mean when I say being in the flow? I'm sure a lot of you would have heard this term. It was coined by a Hungarian American psychologist, and he founded this concept of flow. And he said it's an experience where you're doing something, either using your skills, your strengths, your attention, and you're so engrossed in it that time passes by and you do not realize. Think about a good conversation maybe that you're having with a friend, and so much of time has flown by, and suddenly you look at your watch and you say, oh, we've been here for 3 hours and I never realized it, right? Or similarly, maybe playing an instrument, maybe art, maybe gardening, maybe reading, maybe writing, or for some people it may even be a work task that they really enjoy, right? Think about the activities where you get fully absorbed such that you don't notice how time flies by. Remember, everyone's PERMA model will look different because everyone's values are different, right? So think about it. Think about what gives you flow. Flow is a very crucial element of well-being and resilience. Are you able to make time for the activities that give you flow? Maybe at this current moment, it could be a physical activity, it could be a personal interest, or are you letting it slip by simply because you are stressed or you're overloaded with whatever else that you're doing? Right? Coming to the third aspect of PERMA, which is relationships. Here we are talking about all the people who you can offer and accept love, care, and support from, right? As human beings, we are wired for social connection. We need contact, we need intimacy. And as you can see, the result of the current pandemic, one of the aspects that a lot of us are facing a problem dealing with is the inability to meet our loved ones or to go out and connect with people or our co-workers in our offices, right? So that is something that we are really missing. Relationships are central to our values of love, kindness, empathy, compassion, cooperation, right? Our well-being is also affected when our relationships are not going so well, right? Or they are one-sided, or we are feeling lonely and isolated, right? How do you ensure that your relationships make you feel supported? How do you ensure that you are understood and cared for? How can you strengthen your relationships or be more available? Like right now, you'd have a lot of people telling you, okay, do video calls, stay connected, be virtually available, make sure you call up people and ask them. So what are the kind of commitments that you make towards your relationships in order to preserve and nurture them, right? These are just thoughts for you to think about. Okay, the next thing is meaning, right? Having a purpose in life, a purpose which is larger than self. It can be anything related to your family, your religion, your community, your cause. It is that question that we often ask ourselves: why am I here? What is my purpose, right? What brings me satisfaction, right? Even maybe it can be something like creating a vision board for myself, which will help me see my purpose for the future, right? Meaning also helps me find and understand my values, right? So very, very important to have meaning in life, right? The next one is accomplishment, right? Or achievement. Okay, it's all about a sense of mastery over whatever that I'm doing. It could be a professional field, it may not be related to any of the other elements, but it's very, very important for me to know that I'm able to do something really well. I'm able to set a goal, reach it, and feel that feeling of success, right? Now you see the numbers that I have written for you on the screen from 20 to 100. That stands for percentages. So 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100, right? I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to note for yourself. Maybe you can, write down or just see how you'd like to note this for yourself as to what rating you give yourself in each of these areas at the current moment. So what does your PERMA look like at this moment, right? So the first one, in what activities do you find pleasure? And at this moment, how much pleasurable or positive emotions are you able to experience, right? Just rate it. Just give yourself a rating there, right? The second one, right? What activities cause you to be in the flow or to lose track of time or to be able to use your strengths fully, right? How much time right now are you able to spend in these kind of activities? Okay, so that's something that you can rate yourself there again, right? The next one is all about relationships, right? So just think about your relationships with others. At this moment, where would you rate your relationships with others on a scale of 20 to 100%, right? You can, of course, devise your own percentages in between. It need not just stick to 20, 40, 60. It can be even 50 for some and 70 for others, right? If I'm looking at the next thing, which is meaning, right? what activities are you rooted in which make you feel that there's a larger sense of purpose in your life besides what you're already doing, right? And are you able to do those meaningful activities at this point of time, the things that you find valuable and worthwhile, right? So give yourself a rating there. Okay. And then coming to the last area, which talks about activities which give you a sense of accomplishment or a sense of achievement. Do you feel that you've had the opportunity or you've had enough achievements that you were hoping for, say maybe in the last 1 year, right? Just rate it, give yourself a rating, right? I'll give you about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to kind of just think about it and give yourself a rating on this wheel, which we call as the wheel of balance or the wheel of PERMA. If anyone has anything to share, please put it up in the chat box and we'd be very happy to hear your view. Right? If anyone has finished rating their wheel, what I'd like you to do is take a good look at this entire wheel, right? Which areas, for some it may be a perfect circle, for others it may be a lopsided circle, it may look like a spider's web for some, right? Just take a good look at it and identify for yourself what areas are your strongest at this moment, right? What sort of behaviors can promote flourishing for you, right? So PERMA is all about flourishing. That's what Martin Seligman said. In fact, this entire model came out in his book called Flourish in 2011, right? So what sort of behaviors will help you to flourish? It could be at this point of time, it could be in general, right? So what are those? Identify it. Maybe you were doing it, maybe you did it at a point of time in your life where you faced adversity and you've probably forgotten about those behaviors, right? Similarly, identify what sort of behaviors diminish flourishing for you, right? Because remember, we spoke about building the strong and reducing or fixing what is, not working or what is broken, repairing that, right? So we want to reduce the weaknesses and enhance the strengths, right? So what sort of behaviors diminish flourishing for you, right? Where can you give more attention to? So which part of PERMA at this point of time in your life you feel you need to give more attention to, and what is it that you can do over there to give it more attention, right? I'm going to repeat this again, that everyone's PERMA is going to look different, right? It's going to be yes, so someone's asked any book on this. Yes, it's called Flourish. It was published in 2011 by Dr. Martin Seligman. He came out with a book in the 90s, which was 90s, or I think 2002, which was called Learned Optimism, which was his first book based on the 3 constructs of, positive psychology, the one that we said, meaningful life, pleasurable life, engaged life. And the second book, which was Flourish, where he expanded that concept into PERMA. And this is a evidence-based researched concept. This is not just something which is coming out of the book, because they've done tons and tons of research on this, and they've realized that the more we integrate PERMA in our life every single day, the more we are closer to well-being, to resilience, to flourishing, right? So we have to find and observe and apply things in these different elements, right? So the different elements, right? Rating your experience of positive emotions, rating your engagement in flow, rating your relationships, rating your meaningful activities, and rating your achievements. Okay, so look at what it looks like for you. Examine it, observe it. You need not share it because it may be very personal to you at this point of time, but you can definitely observe it as a means of self-awareness, as a means of knowing what you have to integrate and where you have to enhance, right? So as I'm recapping this model, right? So as I'm recapping, these are the 5 areas we spoke about. We spoke about positive emotion, which is all about savoring, joy, self-care, right? So what are you doing right now, which allows you to savor at least one positive experience in the day? What are you doing right now, which allows you to find joy in those little moments, right? Is there anything that you ensure that you do for yourself in terms of self-care? It can be something once in 2 or 3 days. It can be something once a week, right? But you really need to do that. The second area, right? So engagement, we are talking about finding flow, being in the zone, being content, being concentrated and focused. So what are the kind of things that can help you do that, right? So finding a hobby and strength, focusing on strengths-based work, right? Mindfulness. Mindfulness is not going to a mountain and doing a meditation sitting on top of the mountain. Mindfulness simply means being aware of the present moment, of where I am in the here and the now, right? If I'm looking at relationships, how do I nurture connection, right? Can I use kindness and gratitude to enhance and nurture the relationships that I have around me, right? If I'm looking at meaning, is there any service that I can do at this point of time? Maybe I can take up volunteering. Maybe I can mentor somebody. Maybe there is a way that I can make a difference in someone's life. It may be, it need not be something which is very massive or very huge, but it's definitely something that I can think of doing in order to find meaning at this point of time, right? The next one is about achievement or accomplishment, right? Remember, to achieve or accomplish, these are the three things that I need, right? So I need to have a goal, and I need to form a habit and ritual around that goal in order to attain mastery. And I need to be determined that, yes, I'm going to get there, right? So there's going to be optimism, there's going to be hope, and I'm going to get there, right? So this is, remember, like I said, the more we integrate living these 5 concepts each day, the more we are closer to resilience, the more we are able to weather whatever storms that come our way, the more we are able to be receptive to enjoy life's moments, right? And all of this means the more we take the onus and responsibility of our own well-being, right? Rather than just waiting, rather than just maybe, yes, a healthy lifestyle is very important. A physical activity, exercise, sleep, all of these things should not be compromised. But in addition to this, I also need to do activities or do some sort of value-based action in these 5 different areas. I'd like to give you a good example here. Think of a ship, right? A ship that carries passengers across oceans. When the maintenance of the ship is neglected, it can sink along with its passengers, right? This ship that we are talking about is you. Maybe you're carrying your family in some way. Maybe you're carrying a certain part of your organization where you're working in some way, right? And when you neglect yourself, or where you don't take proactive steps towards your well-being, you can result in a burnout, you can result in exhaustion. So prevent going down to the ocean floor with your passengers. Don't neglect yourself. Use PERMA to allow you to create a roadmap where you can map your sources of support and nurturing, find ways to energize, rest, and probably even up your feel good and your optimism, right? So over here as well, we have just shared small example of activities just to give you a little more deeper understanding of the concept that you can do. So when I'm talking of positive emotion, maybe you could try to think of something good that happened to you at the end of each day and how you contributed to it. Okay, we have also formulated a small little handout which I will request Nishta to share at the end of today's session, which has these 3 positive interventions, and one of them is called 3 blessings. So this is there in 3 blessings, 3 good things that happened to you and how you contributed to it, right? That is very, very important. Okay, the next one is all about the next one. Yes, someone, yes, I will respond to that soon. Can you suggest a book which will help you reach resilience in all areas of PERMA? So there's a third one as well by Martin Seligman. I will share the name of that book. All right, then we have this, which is engagement, right? Trying to think of 3 new ways of doing any activity which you anyways do, right? And using your senses to experience the activity in this new way, right? Very, very effective to build mindfulness, very effective to help you find that flow concept that we are talking about, right? Relationships, very nice one. And you can do this with your partner, right? Appreciate your partner for using their top 3 values. And for this, you have to know your partner's values, right? So find out what are your partner's top 3 values, appreciate your partner for using the top 3 values, and tell them why you admire them, right? Very, very good to build your relationship, very, very good to nurture that connection, right? If I'm looking at meaning, deliberately align one of your values to your top 3 work tasks for the day. So whatever it is that you need to do for a particular day, right? Find one value that you think you can use and align to do those top 3 work tasks. When I'm looking at achievement, right? set a goal and think of 3 ways to achieve that goal, and then think of 3 thoughts that you will tell yourself to keep yourself motivated to remain focused on that goal, right? Very effective. All of these techniques, these are, again, I'm saying, research based, coming from positive psychology construct, and things which can really help you build resilience in your life, find and create your own roadmap, change it, tweak it. Like we say, we left out in our car to reach a certain destination, and we probably realized that somewhere along the route it was congested, it was jam, and we needed to change the route, right? This is a more scenic route to get where you want to go, and a more conscious route to allow you to have a value-based conscious living, right? So now I'll request Malini. So we've written out, like I said, three positive interventions for you just to do on your own, after this workshop. And we have, before we move into a mindfulness exercise, so I'll just request Malini to do the last activity for the day. This is also coming from Dr. Martin Seligman's, suggestions, and he calls it a beautiful day. So I will request Malini to take you through this activity.
Thanks, Nilofer. Right. So we built a foundation, we have built a structure, and this is more like beautification. When you build a house, and when you go inside, you beautify it in the way you want it, because you are going to stay there. It's going to be a reflection of your ideas. It's going to be a reflection of your personality, and similarly, a day is also a reflection of your own self. A beautiful day is also a reflection of your own ideas, things that are important to you, things that are of value to you. That's for the foundation is very important. On that, we have built a structure that what is it that I need to do, and now I need to actually use it in my day-to-day routine. So it's a beautiful day is again a very beautiful concept by Martin sir, and it's a very normally we start our day in a autopilot mode. I think most of us do that. We get up, we know what we have to do, and we go through that daily routine or that day in that autopilot mode, and that doesn't allow us to shift, or that doesn't allow us to include something new. So it's a beautiful day is a very beautiful concept where this you could do it the day, if you want to do it for tomorrow, you need to actually visualize it today, that in the next 24 hours, right, what is it I want my day to be. So that's the first step that you have, that what is your idea of a beautiful day. And it doesn't mean that everything is nice. Sometimes a beautiful day is also laced with a lot of sometimes difficulties and all, but still at the end of the day I feel good. Like it's a very difficult day today, but at the end of the day I'm feeling very satisfied, or I'm feeling very happy that I could manage the things and I feel better. So what is your idea of a beautiful day? Like what would you like to do? Maybe if it's a weekend, like on a Saturday, Sunday, what is your idea of a beautiful day? How would you like to connect to your family, or to your own hobbies or activities? On a working day, what is your idea? Like how do you want your entire day to span out? How do you want the entire day to go in a different way? What are the people whom you would like to talk with? Whom would you like to connect? Whom would you like to talk? Whom would you like to share? Would you like to meet up friends or talk to them? Would you like to be in connect with your family and friends? This is something which father had shared with me. We were going through a um, kind of a session with the child, and the child missed the father. Like the father had a very busy day, and he actually missed being with the father and all. But a very small change, like in the idea of a beautiful day, he wrote that although I can't meet my child, but I can stay in connect with my child, either through a phone call, or maybe dropping in a message, or maybe just calling up and checking. So that was his idea of a beautiful day. There's another story which I recollect from another of a positive psychology experience, where the person used to come home, but he couldn't see the child because he was sleeping, and he would tie a knot. He had told his son that if he comes and sees him, he would tie a knot on his mattress, And he did that every day. So the child used to get up in the morning, the father was asleep, but he would look at the knot and he would feel happy that yes, my father came and saw me when he came late night, and he saw me and he spent some time with me, and then he went back to his sleep. So whatever is your idea of a beautiful day, allotting time wouldn't mean that sometimes we can be physically present, but how do we allot time? How do we stay connected? If connection is one part of my value, that I want to be connected to people, what is it that I can do? So maybe, you could just write down your idea of a beautiful day. I would request if you could pen down something even right now. You can just take about a minute or two and just pen down for yourself that what is your idea of a beautiful day. How would you, think about a day which is beautiful, which is filled with lot of not just joy and happiness, but even difficulties, but you are very happy to manage them and overcome them. So you could just take a minute and pen it down for yourself. The next is, this is where you design it. So what is your idea? And now you can put down actual activities, to understand that what I can do in a day and make it more beautiful. So what are the things that I can do for myself to keep it more, happy? How would I go about with it, and what would I do about it? So that is something which would come in this step, which is design your beautiful day.
I
Right?
think here what would also help is maybe if you could think of some elements from the past where you've had beautiful days, or which symbolize your idea of a beautiful day, and you can even add those elements here, right? Remember, you are designing your entire 24 hours. If you like, you can even set a date for this day and say, this is going to be the day that I'm going to be doing this from the time I wake up to the time that I'm going to be sleeping.
You can go back in your memory and visualize a day which had gone very well, and what did you do on that day? So that could also be there. It could be that I thought about these things to do, and I feel that this would make my life or a day more beautiful, but I've not been able to implement it. So that could also come up here. If somebody says that, okay, I would want to spend a quiet time, so how do I go about it? Or if I want to connect with my friends, how do I go about it? Right? So if I want to connect with my family, if I want to connect with my growth and learning, how do I go about it? So you could put up this thing, and you could also put up a date. So I would request that you could do it every day initially, so that it becomes a kind of a pattern, and that would be very, very helpful. The second one is, post this, once you design it, you need to actually live your life, right? Again, you need to live and experience that day. So visually, take a it's a kind of a visual treat, that you go through this entire experience in your mind, that tomorrow I'm waking up, and whatever you have designed for your day to be beautiful, you just go through that entire experience in your mind. I would also say that visualization is a very good activity for mind resilience. See, when you visualize, you are creating an image. Normally, when we think of situations, we think of, many times the mind is used to focusing on the negatives, and that actually creates the image of a negative thing, and that actually affects our resilience. But when we create an image about something positive or upbeat, it actually changes our thoughts within our mind, and it also actually helps us to achieve it. So visualization is a very, very beautiful technique, because it's also bringing a change in your thought patterns. And you talk about affirmations, you talk about self-talk. These are all the ways, in which an image can also change your thoughts. So very important that you visualize this experience in your mind and you live it the next day, exactly the way you conceived it, exactly the way you visualized. There's one very beautiful saying, I actually relate to it. We call it frames of mind. It's by Kabir, a very famous saint, Sant Kabir, and it's in Hindi, but I'll translate it in English. It says that when you sit with a beaded necklace and you actually do the meditation on it, that's not going to help you change your mind. What will help you to change your mind is to let go of things which are no longer important. That's what we did in our values exercise. It's also helping you to change the frames in your mind, right? When you change the frames in your mind, that is what we did in the PERMA model, right? And actually change it and live it, that's going to make a change in your thought patterns. So this is the way in which you can actually change the frames in your mind. Because when we stay in the same frame, we are in the same scene, we are not changing the scene. So this is more about changing the scene, this is more about changing the frames. And as you live it and as you go through it, in the end of the day, just reflect on your experience. How did you feel when you lived your beautiful day? Were there some ups and downs? How did you manage it? Being in the flow is also that, when you are happy within, whatever happens, you can manage it. I also say it many times that, when you are happy, even the biggest things, can be managed well. But when you're upset, even the small things, will irritate you or, create agitation. So reflect on your experience that, how did the entire day go? Focus more on the positives also. Focus on the things that did not go well and just, be neutral about it. Yes, okay, this didn't go well. I can manage it as it comes and be neutral on it. So reflection is not, trying to judge that it went well, it did not go well, or I could have done this better or I could not have done this better. But it is more about, just being in that frame that, okay, how did I go through the entire day? What emotions am I feeling right now at the end of the day? Even if something did not go well, how was I feeling at that time? Was I more calmer? Was I more relaxed? What kind of behaviors made me feel relaxed at that period of time? What kind of values did I look into and bring that behavior into existence? So all this reflection or insight will also help you to understand that, what kind of, areas you are able to manage, and what kind of areas you actually are using a lot of your potential but you are not aware about it, or maybe I'm overlooking it. Maybe it's there in my subconscious mind but not in my conscious mind. So this is the way where you could reflect on your experience and also see how that experience is going to help you. So very, very simple technique it is there. But this will definitely be very helpful to understand that, sometimes we also go back, as Nilofer mentioned that, sometimes there are past experiences which come up. We connect to the past experiences, right? So certain good experiences, it comes to our conscious mind from our subconscious, and we are able to reflect on it. It's also a way where we can just remind that, okay, I take each day as it comes, right? And I create it in my way. I'm the creator of my own day, so I create it in my way and I take it as it comes, and I can do this again and again. And once my day is better today, it reflects in my emotions and my moods. It can also, have a ripple effect on the next day. You see that, when there is a happy news, you're happy throughout the day. It also reflects and it also creates that same effect the next day. And when you are in a bad mood, sometimes if you're not able to let it go, it will get carried forward in the next day. So I need to understand that what I need to credit the next day and what I need to debit, and not get it carried forward in the next day. And the last is that, again, as I mentioned, not to judge whether the day has been good or bad. So we are not getting into a perfection mode, right? Because sometimes, as I mentioned, there might be difficult situations, but I see that how I managed it, what helped me to manage it well, right? And what was my mind state, what was the emotions that I was experiencing, and where did this come from? What did I do for this emotions to come? And what are the values that are reflected in this? So basically it will have you give you more of a inner insight into how to move forward. So there's a beautiful word that, the best journey is the one which is taken inside. So we are taking a journey inside and seeing that how I can create and be in touch with myself and let it reflect in my day and make it beautiful, make it more meaningful for me. So everybody can do it every day. It's a very beautiful exercise, and anything that you do for 21 days becomes a habit. So anything, if you are starting new, if you are carrying forward it for 3 weeks to 4 weeks, it's definitely going to become a routine, which also means that anything that we want to give up or let go, we need to do it consistently for more than 3 to 4 weeks. Right? So Nilofer is also now going to take you. This is one step where we spoke about visualization, and she's also going to take you through this exercise on mindfulness, which is again about visualizing, bringing positive images, bringing images which can actually make your mind feel more relaxed. And along with that, how you could actually, uh, as I mentioned, it's more about how we change the software. We have a particular software. I think when we work in finances and all, we had Tally, and then we had a new version of Tally. So as the needs change, the softwares also change. So similarly, when we go through our life and different challenges, and as there are different priorities and all, we also need to change that software in our mind. So this activity is definitely, the mindfulness technique is definitely going to help you in reflecting and also changing those areas. So over to you, Nilofer.
Thank you, Malini. So I think, we wanted to leave you with this exercise, a beautiful day, because like rightly Malini said, we undermine the power of our imagination. If you think about the time when you were children, you could imagine and have an entire play just in your imagination. You didn't need people, you didn't need toys, you really didn't need anything, right? We carry our imagination even in our adulthood. Think about all the times when you're really stressed. Like even right now in the pandemic, a lot of people, when they're really stressed, what is happening is in their mind. Their mind is not just producing thoughts about things which could go wrong, but they are actually visualizing themselves, maybe even reaching a hospital, maybe seeing their loved one suffer, right? Feeling of loss, feeling of grief. So your mind has this power to create anything that you want it to create, right? So visualization, scientifically also, it has been proven that it creates neural pathways in your brain, new connections in your brain. That is the whole basis of meditation, having vision boards, manifesting, having the kind of thoughts that you would like to see manifest into actual reality for yourself in life. So what we are going to do now is a small little exercise, just to kind of end the session and leave you with something, leave you with an actual experience of what mindfulness is all about, right? This is an exercise which we have taken from something where you need to just become aware of the ripples. So Malini said, we said about this beautiful day, and we said it creates ripples around you. It creates ripples in your mind, your mood and behavior. So when something goes right, there are these positive ripples, and when something doesn't go right, there are these ripples which are not so nice, and we carry that vibe with us everywhere. A lot of people have their own mindfulness practices, which is absolutely fine. So if you're someone who is keen on deep breathing, it's fantastic. If you're someone who likes to meditate every single day, that is also perfect. If you're someone who doesn't ascribe to any of these practices and you can't relate to it, that is also absolutely fine. Like I said, having a cup of tea, thoroughly enjoying it, savoring it, feeling that first sip of tea, taking the smell, using all your senses to engage in something, is what mindfulness is all about, because it keeps you aware of the present moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead you through this quick, it's about a 7-minute mindfulness exercise. And what we can do is, uh, I want you to just close your eyes and focus on tuning in inside, on this inner journey, tuning into your emotions, tuning into building present moment awareness, right? So take a couple of deep breaths, just sit comfortably straight wherever you are. Maybe just turn your phones the other way around so you're not distracted. Just taking in a few deep breaths, feeling how your belly, chest, and head feel as you take in a deep breath, reflecting on the emotions that come up for you. Remember these emotions. They are like a ripple in a pond. You taking deep breaths, simply tuning in. Just focus on the positive or negative impact of any stories you believe about yourself. Expand your awareness to include the fact that many here with you today would probably be feeling something similar. Take a deep breath and focus on how increased awareness can make you feel. As you continue to take deep, slow breaths, you feel your spine and shoulders soften. You begin to pay attention to your life. You begin to tap in to a sense of clarity and purpose that allows you to engage with the world, connecting at a human level. Now gently focus your attention on your breath, imagining your mind to be a still pond. I will share some questions for reflection. Don't think about the responses to these questions. Simply see them as pebbles being dropped into the still pond of your mind, one by one. Each pebble creating a pool of ripples that come to your notice and awareness. Ask yourself what is most important to you. What do you aim to achieve maybe 6 months from now? Notice the thoughts, feelings, and images that surface in your mind as you gently breathe in and out. Ask yourself, what are the values that guide you? What may be preventing you from living your values each day? Simply notice the ripples of thoughts, feelings, and images that surface in the still pond of your mind as you breathe in and out. Bringing attention to your body, simply noticing the sensations that arise. Simply bringing your attention back to your breath. Now imagine yourself savoring your life's best moments. What does that feel like? Notice the ripples created in the pond. Continue breathing in and out, bringing your attention to your body, noticing the sensations that arise. Gently bringing your attention back to your breath. Now imagine yourself living with purpose. What is your life's purpose? What does it feel like? Notice the ripples created in the pond. Continue breathing in and out, bringing your attention, tapping into your body, and noticing any sensations that arise. If your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Take a few deep breaths in and out as you emerge from these reflections, noticing how you feel in your body and mind with an enhanced sense of awareness, paying attention to what surfaces, taking a few deep breaths, relaxing your mind and body, taking accountability for your own well-being and resilience, taking a full deep breath as you bring your awareness back to the room. Take a few deep breaths in and out and open your eyes. Look around the room for 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch or feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that's a lingering taste in your mouth. Take a few moments to relax as we bring our session to a close.